Hi, everybody.
Good morning.
Everybody have a good turkey day?
Yes.
How many of you were here last week when Bob spoke? Good. He did my talk, so. I can say this. He did. So, now I have to start over. But what I decided to do was dig a little deeper. Bob made a comment last week about being grateful for everything. And I spent a lot of time thinking about this week. It's really easy to be grateful for things that we call good in our lives. Bob talked a little bit about this. But think of something that's a little harder in your life. Joe, you're still looking for a job. Maybe a little harder in your life. Some people have health challenges. Maybe that's a little harder in your life. Can we actually get to where we can be grateful for everything? Now, I'm going to tell you, I'm not there. We'll just start this. I am not there. I think if I'm there, I'm off the planet. I think that's kind of what happens. I'm not there, but I'm telling you that I'm kind of working on it. I spent a lot of time over the last couple of weeks thinking about this stuff. And then Betty sends out this email earlier this week. Did anybody actually read the thought-provoking question of the week?
Oh, I didn't send it to everybody.
Oh, you didn't send it to everybody? It only went to certain people? Start sending it to everybody.
Okay.
Betty sent this thought-provoking question of, who decides what's good or bad? Who decides what's good or bad?
I don't like those words.
Exactly. If you let go of the words, then you don't have any issues with it. But most of us, Maggie, of course, is way beyond all of us, so Maggie probably doesn't do this, but the rest of us probably have a fair amount of things we judge in our lives. A little bit of judgment going on. Could be how someone's dressed, could be, a homeless person, could be all kinds of things. Whether our life situation is good or bad. If there's thank goodness we didn't have a big fire this fall, but if there's a fire, is that bad? There's things we've collectively decided are good and bad. Collectively, I bet everybody here will agree that ice cream is pretty darn good. And liver, maybe not so much. How many of you like liver? See, there's a few of you. Okay. But think of something you don't like. There's going to be something you don't like. Sauerkraut. Brussels sprouts. Okay. But who decides what's good or bad? Because I like Brussels sprouts and sauerkraut's okay. And, but we make these, and I hate to get this picky, guys, but we're making judgments. And the judgments are keeping us upset. You go to Thanksgiving dinner and somebody serves Brussels sprouts and you don't like them, you're not going to be very happy about it. Am I right? I mean, it sounds silly, but we're getting, on some level, small or sometimes quite elevated, upset about things that we judge as good or bad. So I started doing some investigation this week. And I started looking at what else is involved here. So we've got our judgments, we've got our own beliefs, we make up our minds that something's good or bad. Is it anything inside of us? Are these things that are inside of us?
Well, sure.
Sometimes. But usually aren't we making judgments and perceptions about things that appear to be outside of us?
Well, not always.
They appear to be outside of us, but really they're things about us, things that are inside of us. Like Maggie's saying, maybe they're things that are inside of us. Maybe they're our old beliefs. Maybe there are experiences that have piled up over our lifetime. Maybe, your buttons can get pushed by things, can't they? Oh, mine can. We all have buttons. We all have buttons from experiences in our life that upset us a little bit. And we think they're things that are outside of us, but they're really things that are inside. But what's the truth? Betty said it earlier. God is everywhere. God is in all things. We are little God pods walking around, having experiences. But are we always acting that way? I don't. I don't. You can ask the people at Vista Print. Yeah, put it on the YouTube, I don't care. But think about this. When we are judging something that appears to be outside of ourselves, what we're judging is that same thing that's in us. Because we all have all of that in us. If you're judging someone's laziness, it's really your own laziness or your thing against laziness that's all inside of you. You're judging anything that appears to be outside of you. You're judging someone who doesn't do a good job. Maybe you've paid someone to do a good job, and they don't do a good job, and you get upset about that. You're judging that same thing inside of you, because that's all we have. It's all inside of us. We like to think we're using the term discernment, but it's really judging. Whether we like something, whether we don't, whether we think it's good or we think it's bad. We spend a lot of time doing this. Anybody remember the old thing? I'm rubber, you're glue. Everything you say bounces off of me and goes back to you. And that's true. But it's true the other way. Everything we say or think bounces off whatever it is that we're judging, and it bounces right back to us. I got a lot of people thinking in the audience right now. I'm seeing a lot of those, oh my goodness faces. I've been thinking about this for over a week now. So I started stumbling across some things that I thought I would share with you. So I'm going to share with you some information about Buddhist traditions and the Four Noble Truths. Now, how many of you have studied Buddhism and know the Four Noble Truths? A few of you. Good, good. For the rest of you, number one of the Four Noble Truths, life means suffering. That's exactly what we've been talking about. That all of our little upsets create our suffering. And that as our heads spin out of control, we create our own suffering. Number two, the origin of suffering is attachment. We are attached to how we want things to go.
Amen.
We are. And that upsets us because, let's face it, life does not always go the way we think it should go. These other little beings out here do not behave the way we want them to. Now, do they? And the closer we are to them, the less they behave. I don't mean Rick.
No.
Never. No.
Why?
Can you see this in your life? Can you see this in your experience? That we're creating this? Our attachment to how things are make us upset. We want to blame somebody else. We want to push it off onto someone else. But it's really our choice. It's 100% our choice. Third noble truth, the cessation of suffering is possible. We can do this. It is possible to get off of the train, to write a new playbook. It's possible to do this. We can start over. I'm not going to say it's easy, but it is possible and it is attainable. And I think it's something that we ought to look at. And the fourth one is the path to cessation. There is a path to cessation. It is the path to cessation is the last one. So there is a path to doing this. So what do you think the path is? Because, in the basic Four Noble Truths, they don't really tell you. You have to study further and go into more detail. So what do you think the path to cessation could be? What did the Master Teacher Jesus teach us?
Forgiveness.
Forgiveness and love. And we talk about this, but do we really live it all the time? I don't. I haven't gotten there yet. I'm working on it. So imagine how your life would look if you stopped all judgment? Kind of scary, huh? What would it look like if you just stopped judging anything or anyone? Would you be more peaceful?
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we all would.